Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We're in the book of Acts, Acts of the Apostles, chapter 9, verses 32 through 43. Now, Peter is on a tour of the churches. He's visiting some churches throughout the Palestinian area. And he comes to Lydda, and there he comes upon a man named Ananias, who is paralyzed, and he's been paralyzed for about 8 years. Now, I got to ask, why did Peter think that he could heal him? Well, Peter can't, and Peter knows that. In fact, what Peter says is, Jesus Christ heals you, and that launches the miracle, is what Peter's trust in what God can do. It says, immediately Ananias gets up, and all those who lived in Lydda and Sharon, they saw what happened, and that life change is so profound to see a man who was once paralyzed, to see him changed, inspires them that God can do the same thing for them. Isn't that what we hope for? Is that God can change our lives for the better, take us from paralysis, being lame in sin, and to have a new life. Well, nearby in Joppa, there is a disciple. Notice the tone. She is called a disciple. She's a leader in her church community. Her name is Dorcas, or Tabitha. And, she was an older woman who led a lot of the women. And she becomes sick and dies. And the church over in Joppa hears that Peter is nearby. And so they call upon him to come and visit their church. And so he comes. Now, again, what did Peter think he was going to be able to do? I think, again, it's not Peter who has this plan. God is the one who is beckoning him. Two messengers come and call Peter to come to this church. And all the widows stand around Peter, and they're grieving, they're crying, they're showing him the beautiful quilts and robes that she had made. And so Peter sends them all to the room, and he gets on his knees and prays. And I think that's a real challenge to us, is do we think that God is expecting us to do something to make a miracle happen? Do we think that it's about our resources, our abilities, or are we on our knees praying for God to do a work in our midst? And so as he's praying, he turns towards Tabitha. I imagine that this is a prayerful statement. Tabitha, get up. And she opens her eyes, and seeing Peter, she sits up. And he takes her by the hand, and he brings her back to her community. And they are overjoyed, because the sense you have is that her death is a huge loss. It is a hole in their community. But to have her back just gives them great joy. And so this became known, this raising the dead becomes known all over Joppa, it says. And again, many people come to believe because they saw God change somebody's life. Well, I want to ask you, where's God leading you? How is God inviting you to be a part of what he's doing? And how can we be praying for life change in our lives, in the lives of others? Well, thanks, my friends. Have a blessed day.